What is up, y'all? Welcome back to Mel Brook Hound Training and Outdoors. Today's video, we're going to talk about a couple different things, but they're all linked back to the same idea. Before we start, I just want to tell each and every one of you, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for the support on the Facebook group, which is right here. That thing is over 6,000 and it's still growing. And thank you guys all for taking the time to leave comments and get down there and hit that subscribe and like button. I really greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all can hit me up on Facebook. You guys can hit me up in the group. You guys can hit me up down here under in the YouTube comments. At my Gmail, I got a lot of things and a lot of ways that you guys can reach out if you feel like you want to, right? So just appreciate that. Y'all are rock stars in that department. Okay, so this video, what I wanted to kind of start at is what gave me the idea for this video is I was watching the Stark video where he is talking to the Reading Coon Hunters Club, right? So down there in the Reading Coon Hunters Club is a huge coon hunter belt going on right down there, and I've said it on my channel since basically I've started it. Southern Michigan is a huge coon hunting place, right? There's a lot of stuff that goes down there, a lot of fantastic coon hunting. Okay, so one thing specifically that they talked about in that video was coon movement down there. It is kind of like they move when they want to, and that is just basically how it is. I think that is the same no matter where you kind of go, but there might be some outline factors, some factors that dictate it a little bit more stringently than around here or a place that has plenty of coons and plenty of food and plenty of water. They can kind of just do what they want when they want because they have resources to, afford them the ability to not have to come out of that tree if they don't want to, right? So what I wanted to point that out for is there's a couple reasons that they would move, okay? So, or decide to move or decide not to move. So we have to put on our analytical cap, and I said this in the podcast with James Wadley, is we have to have such an analytical kind of mindset when we're looking into things and trying to find answers. We have to analyze it, and we can just be the guy that just goes, puts a dog in the woods and don't care. I just don't care about nothing. My dog goes out there. If he trees one, he trees one. He don't. That's completely fine and good. But on the other note of that, let's just give for instance, a hypothetical situation. Let's say that we have a piece of property within 5 or 10 minutes from our house that is really easy to get to. It's loaded up with coon. We don't really have any type of issue hunting over there. So we formulate in our brain, we go, okay, I'm going to cut at dark. Let's say dark is at 7. So we're to the woods at 7, and we go out to the woods at 7 and we tree 20 coon. All right, we come back the very next night at 7, cut out, we tree 10 coon. The next night we come back out, we cut them out, we tree 5 coon. And then the next day we come back out at 7 o'clock and cut the dog, and we tree no coons. And we go, that's kind of weird for this place. So we wait the next day at 7 o'clock, we go back out there, we cut them loose, no coon. And we give it another try. And we say, okay, this would be the last time. I'm going to cut my dogs over here, or whatever you formulated for your plan. I'm going to take my dog over there at 7. I'm going to cut him at 7. You cut him at 7 o'clock, and he trees no coon. All right. What is happening in that picture? Okay, so say that we haven't taken any coon out of there. We have went over there for a week every night at 7 o'clock. We started off treeing with 20, and we ended up down now. We dump over there at 7. No coon, no coon, no coon, no coon. They didn't pack up and leave. What they've done is they have went in their mind and went, every night at 7 o'clock, this dude shows up and cuts his dog out, and he chases us all over the woods and puts us up a tree. And then they go, well, half of them got it the first night, and they just stayed in the tree. The other half of that half got it that next night, and so on and so forth, until all the coons are going, well, we're just not going to come out of the trees until 8 or 9, right? We're just going to stay up an extra couple hours. He comes over here, he pilfers around, and then he's out of here, then we're ready to do our business. So that same exact place can still be viable, but if we have ran a place to where the coons are staying up, or we're not getting anything treed, and we know there's a bunch of coon out there, the idea is they've probably just stayed up in a tree and waited you out. So we want to come out there at a later time, okay? So we're not only battling weather, we're not only battling dog behavior, we're not only battling our dog's hunt ability, we're not battling our, ability to pay attention and do things or whatever, direct a dog. We're not only doing all these things, we are also battling the coon, okay? So the coon are smart. They are extremely smart, and you don't even have to be smart to be a wild animal and understand that when I see lights 5 minutes later, there's something in the woods barking. I see those lights 5 minutes later, there's something in the woods barking. Or if I hear that bark, something's probably going to come chase me. They can understand that, right? They can learn things over a long period of time, like you can, like I can, like the dog can, right? So the coon will learn you, and sometimes it takes that little bit of effort to go, I'm going to wait a couple extra hours, and then I'm going to go out there, and then I'll see what I get on. There might be that one that goes, yeah, he's gone, he ain't coming back, he ain't never come over here twice. Now, to think that far into it and think that deep into a coon mind, it's not all that far-fetched. I mean, it's the same thing as kind of like patterning bucks or whatever, any type of game. They have a routine usually, but we can interrupt that routine, right? Some of them don't care. You're not going to interrupt them. They're going to be there. Other of them, they're going to go, I have to change everything that I do to get out of this situation, and I'll be out of the tree 3 hours late. And then if you start pushing in on them, they just won't come out, right? So it's kind of like we're battling the intelligence of how smart the coon are that we're running. And I've said this on the channel before, is there is a difference between a high pressure coon and a low pressure coon, and there is a difference in coons that have never experienced a dog, okay? So if we take to a patch of woods that is full up with coons and it's never been hunted for the past 15 years with dogs, and we put a dog in those woods, he is going to slam the absolute guts out of that place. He is going to absolutely ream a hole through them whole woods, and it's just because the coon don't have any idea what's coming their way. They're unaware, they're unpressured, they have no idea what's about to happen to them. And then that if you take a place with high pressure, it can still have the same amount of coon in there, but those coons are a lot smarter, right? They have experienced the dog running, they have experienced the hunters in the woods, they have experience enough to know they come in here, put pressure on me one night, I'll stay up for a week. I'm not getting put up again. You know what I mean? It is just literally just like that, and they understand at a certain point, they quit coming over here, I can come back out, right? So mixing our days up in a spot, waiting a few days before we hit a spot again, changing the times that we go to a spot is definitely going to help in ensuring that we always catch coon on the ground. We have to be unpredictable to a game that is able to figure out you, okay? So the coons are smart. They're not going to come out and mess in your trash can if they know you're in your window. You know what I mean? They're smart enough to understand threats and when to operate, okay? And while I'm talking about all this stuff, and why I linked it back to the Stark video, because they gave me that idea, and I kind of sat down and I thought about that and went, yeah, that is very accurate what they're saying about how the coons go over there. You can go to a patch of woods, you have coon, and not tree a single thing. Next night you come over there, tree 10, 15 of them. It is just kind of that way. And the way that they react to our presence out there in the woods has a lot to do with how we succeed in our hunting, okay? So it's not only all about the dog training. It's not only all about us and teaching us the knowledge and stuff. It is also learning the habits, learning the mentality of the type of coon that are out here on this property. Are they green? Are they aware of what a dog is? Are they been put up before? Have they been under pressure? Have they been under severe pressure? Like, what is going on out here? And like one thing that I've said on the channel too is putting a dog in a patch of woods over and over and over and over again that it comes up with nothing is asking for problems. Because at some point in time, that dog is just going to go, what does he want me to hunt? It's not out here. Oh, I bumped a deer. Oh, I bumped a fox. Oh, I bumped a bobcat. oh, whatever, right? So we just have to pay attention how much to put pressure on a dog to go into a certain patch of woods and produce something. If the coons have outsmarted the dog, that's fine. If the coons have outsmarted us, that's a big problem, right? That's a big issue. Some other things that I have written down here and want to kind of talk about is, okay, so like Tilly, I took her out today. She treated me one. It was kind of shaky. I seen it go up from over there. She went over there in that area. She couldn't figure the tree out. I went over there messing around. It started timbering out. She chased it all through the woods, timbering it, and it finally made it up to a big tree. She treed up on it. Is that the best case scenario? No. Is that what I was looking for? I mean, it was more than what I expected from having her put up for a couple weeks in the daytime anyway. I did take her out at night a few times. But the whole idea is now I'm in a spot with her to where I have to figure out my options. And my options to get this dog to do what I want it to do, I have to analyze it, and I have to be very analytical and make choice decisions. And I'm left with a few options, and then I have to weigh my options and which one suits me best, okay? So let's say I want my dog to get gone and tree, okay? She doesn't do that so much, but she will get gone, but you gotta walk her. And it's kind of like this teeter-tottery thing, and then sometimes she just goes and flat does it. It's the typical type of puppy, a typical type of greener young dog behavior. And a couple ways that I can do to remedy that is my brain is I'll take her to the woods at 7 o'clock and I'll hunt her all day long until 7 at night. And I'll drop her at this place and I'll drop her at that place and drop her at this place and drop her at that place and just slam her in the woods. Bam, bam, bam. Get her a good week of that or more, right? And just see what I come out the other end of that. Do I come out a dog that's absolutely sick of hunting and don't want to hunt no more? Or do I come out of the other side of that week with a dog that's got 15, 20, 30 squirrels treed? I don't know, right? Until I go and do that. But that is a big, huge commitment to go in the woods from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night or whatever hours or daylight to dark, right? And just put the hours on her. Or I have the other option is I've been very completely off leash with her. She's very willy-nilly in the woods. She does what she wants. I don't keep up after her. I call her back when we're ready to go. Outside of that, go do what you want. You know what I mean? I'm not pressuring her to leave me. She's hanging out, taking off. And what I've done this for is because now what I can do is I could take her in the woods on a leash, cut her off when she leaves. And when she comes back, I'll leash her, put her back on the truck. And I've talked about this, eliminating options and forcing a dog's own want to against it. And we can have the same type of effect as a heavy, hard week hunted in the woods and have the same effect on the outside of that. Because if what I'm wanting to get out of either one of those situations is a go power, right? So I'm trying to get the go power out of her. And these two ways are two ways to do it. But one way is way more simpler, but it comes with the disbenefit of not a building experience. The other hand, it builds a lot of experience, but I can't kind of guarantee what I'm going to get on the other end of that. So I have to weigh my options. I still haven't made my mind up, but that's my kind of point, is analyzing what we're doing, and decision making is really ultimately what gets you there. And like I talked about it a little bit with James Wadley in the podcast. If you guys haven't checked out the podcast, it is Talking Dogs Podcast. And I've had a couple people on. I sat down and do the podcast by myself. Y'all should definitely check that out if you haven't checked that out yet. But I talked to James Wadley about it a little bit, and it is, we want a dog to tree this type, or he's really good at treating this type, but we want him to get onto this type, or they'll tree this type really well and then start picking up this one, and we want them to start hammering away at this one and get better at this one, kind of the idea. And the whole idea behind this is you can do that, right? And I talked about this in one of my way earlier videos about, or I believe it was on one of the podcasts, to where I'm talking about if you take a dog that only likes to tree this kind of coon, and then you say, I don't want you treeing that kind of coon, I want you treeing this kind of coon. Okay, we have to create a situation through analyzing different patches of woods, different times of day, whatever the case may be, and putting our dog in that situation to where it's constantly getting the opportunity to tree this type of coon. And when we get it to tree this type of coon, we have to reinforce this type of coon. And the whole idea behind this is the dog automatically chooses this kind, and we've kind of taught it or forced it to tree this kind. And then when we take the dog and put it in the woods, after we've accomplished this and we've shut it off from being able to do what it wants to kind of do and do what we want it to do, when we put it back in the woods, it has more options in the same cut of woods. And then what we can do is bifurcate it even more. And then we do it on this type and this type. And then we put a dog in the woods and it's got 4 types that it can go, right? And it's just kind of like expanding upon expanding upon expanding a dog's mentality, a dog's situational awareness, a dog's ability to hunt a particular patch of woods or a particular type of pressure on coon, whatever the case may be. We can control that to a certain extent, and we can control that through analyzing what our dog is doing, analyzing through what we've been doing, what the coon have been doing, what the weather's been doing. We put all that information in and we can output data that we can look at and go, if I just cut him at this chunk, I'll get what I'm looking for better out of him. Or he's looking really good here, but I don't know about this. So let's try him over here, see how shaky he is. And if he's really shaky, we're going to keep him over there until he gets it figured out, right? And this is kind of the idea that I've talked about, and this is going to kind of bring it full circle, is running the dog in the same woods, regardless of what they're coming up with. If they're coming up with nothing and nothing and nothing and nothing, you probably shouldn't keep that dog in that woods. But we can also keep a dog in the woods, the same patch of woods, to get a dog to go ahead and fan out farther, to go out and get deeper, to go out and look harder, right? So we can do all these kind of things. And the way that you break it down in your thinking is kind of like, I need just enough of this to get what I need, and then I need to move on and try this and get what I need. Or if we're, like I said, if we're just okay with just putting a dog in the woods and not really caring what they're out there doing, what they're out there coming up with, what kind of coon they're treeing, where they're doing the better at, by cornfields, by rivers, whatever, if we're not taking the time into consideration of that, then it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, there is a big difference between somebody that will take the time to analyze their hunt, take the time to analyze their dog, take the time to analyze their woods, take the time to analyze their coons, and then put themselves in the best position for them and their dog and crank more results out of a dog, right? So, and a lot of times what happens, and it's kind of happening to me right now, Tilly, and it happened to me with Cash, right? So we get a dog to a certain point. Yes, Tilly will tree squirrels, but is that all that I'm looking for out of her? Absolutely not. I need this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And I have to be able to work on all of this stuff, or I'm stuck with whatever she's doing currently, which is kind of hunting, kind of not hunting, only treeing squirrels that she does see. She won't tree by smell. She ain't winding. She's just kind of out there touch and go. And I need to do my job as a trainer and do my due diligence for my dog to make her a dog that I like by putting her through more processes to go ahead and expand upon her as a dog and get those abilities put into her. And it's the same idea behind the coonhounds. Like Cash reached a level very, very quickly after he started treeing coon. He reached a really good level very fast, and he reached a level fast enough for me to go, I know exactly what he needs. I can't give it to him. I have to give him off to somebody that can actually do what he needs done for him. And Cash is all the better for it. Cash has treated a couple hundred coons already over the past couple seasons. So, and it's kind of like with me, he would have been stuck here in a kennel, treeing 1 or 2 coon a month, or a couple every couple weeks, or whenever I got time, I'll slam him in the woods for a week or 2 and then put him up. It wasn't doing so good, right? It wasn't a good combination for him and me to be together as a hunter and a dog, but it was me that put him over with somebody that did him the right way, right? Or did what he needed to have done for him to go farther. And that is kind of it. And we have to be able to be honest, and we have to be analytical to judge a dog at the level that it's actually at, okay? So for the most part, I think what kind of happens is guys get a dog, they get it to tree coons, they put it in the woods and it tree coons, put it in the woods and it tree coons, put it in the woods and it tree coons, it's tree coons, it's treeing coons, right? What more do you want, right? And that is because they haven't taken the time to have that mindset. You haven't taken the time. How fast is he going? What kind of tracks is he picking? How hard is he treeing? How long is he stay put on the tree? Does he bump him out of the corn every time? Like, he doesn't hit another kind of coon besides bumping him off the corn. Does he only tree these layup coons? Like, if we take the patience to look at the dog and go, this is the kind of coon he's treeing, this is where he's doing the best, this is how fast he's going, this is how hard he's treeing, this is how consistent he is, this is how accurate he is, this is how many days he's been in the woods, this is how many days he's been off, this is how much training I put in him, this is how much training I have not put into him, this is where I want him to be, this is where he's at. If we don't have that capacity to apply ourselves to break down all those facets, then our dog is never going to go farther. It's going to stay right wherever you've left it. And some dogs, they just get there. They're at a very high level right off the base, right? So building a good base, and that's one thing that I'm not going to spoil it too much, but there was some things that me and James Wadley were talking about that we kind of wanted to get covered that we didn't get covered in the hour. So we're probably going to have him back on to go ahead and cover another hour of training, and there's some subjects in there which I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. So if you guys want to hear that, tune in for the next one when I get him back on. But it's kind of, it makes a huge difference. It makes all the difference in the world. And if we are analyzing the data that we're getting from our dog and from our hunts, it is so much easier to look at the situation and not be so upset about the outcome of our situation, right? And it's so much easier to not be upset about the outcome of our hunt, because if we just don't care and you are going to tree or you are not for me, right? If that's the only two options you got, and we put a dog in the woods and it doesn't do what we want, we're very upset, right? And we're very upset. And one thing that he touched on too is minding our emotions is another thing, because it's very so accurate, and it's true across all dog breeds, right? It's true across virtually all animals. They can smell your fear. They're picking up on what you're laying down, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, even if you go watch the Discovery Channel, they'll tell you the same thing, right? It's kind of like general knowledge that we need to be aware of. And if we're walking into a tree and we're just stomping and we're mad and we're, he didn't have it this time, he didn't have it last tree, I'm just, why did that dog want to stay at that tree? Why would he ever want to be there when you show up? You're all mad, and you walk in there all mad. He knows it. You walk in there, oh yeah, he's treed. He knows it, right? Or my thing is, and just like James Wadley said, is we need to try to control our emotions when we're going into the tree. And one thing that I have a very difficult time doing is not being excited, right? I have a very hard time not getting just the adrenaline rush and having a good time. Like, my dog's treed, I'm jumping for joy. I'm awesome. Like, every time, I don't care how many times I've walked to a tree, I don't care how many dogs that I've been to a tree, looking in the tree, looking for that coon. When you see that coon, I'm happy, right? It is just awesome. It's like, yes, that's the coolest stuff in the world to me. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, when I walk into a tree, I got to keep it right here. I can't go too negative because I don't want to put a bad vibe on the dog, and I can't go too excited because I don't want to excite the dog and he's done something wrong. We have to keep it level, figure out what's happened, and go, good job, bad job. And we have to control that and maintain that. And again, that's analyzing and being analytical. Because let's say we have a really good dog, but we always show up to the tree mad. Well, the dog starts looking shaky on the tree. You might start leaving the tree. You might start not barking so hard, or shutting up when you show up, not keep on treeing, and just giving you issues. And it's just like, he's got coon up that tree, but your mood is taking that dog down a notch, and we shouldn't do that. But that is a bunch, and I figured I wanted to make a longer video because a lot of this stuff, and I've said this before, is I've kind of reached a level to where I have all these video ideas, but they are very long and they are very complicated kind of ideas to grasp, and we have to hash out a lot of stuff to get behind it and kind of understand it. But I have some shout outs for you guys, a lot of shout outs. I need to keep up on those more. I'm thinking maybe I'm going to start posting them in the YouTube instead of making the video, because it does take up like a big chunk. But first things first, Mike Parr, thank you, dude. You're awesome. You always have earned your shout out. I've always said I'm going to put like a little tag down there that permanently tags Mike Parr. He is in the Facebook group. He is in, talking to me on Messenger. He has been commenting on the YouTube stuff. He is a member. So if you guys haven't been a member or check that out, get down there and check that out. Okay. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm getting very close to getting monetized, and I'm going to start putting the monetizations at the beginning of the video. I'm going to forewarn you guys that as soon as I hit that 1,000, the monetizations are going on the videos. And the only way that I could kind of prevent that is to get revenue through some other way or some other, and that would be the memberships. Okay, so it's kind of like memberships or monetization, and it's looking like monetization, which is fine. But y'all, I'm just letting y'all know, heads up. Okay, so Jim Nanny, you've been around, you've been commenting. Awesome. I'm really glad you found the channel. Bullet Cur Kennels. I want to just take a minute here to say directly to you, I got your comment notification on my video. I went to go to the video. Your comment is not there. Okay, so I went there through different portals. I went there through different machines. It shows me the notification that you commented, but there's not a comment under the video for me to reply to, at least on my end. I do not want you to think that I left you hanging. That was a very good comment, and I greatly appreciate it, man. Okay, so another big one here is going to be Waylon. Okay, so Waylon Sanford, you've known me forever. We hunted together a lot, especially back when I was in my teenage years. We've ran dogs together. We trained dogs together. Dude, I've been in Michigan for a couple years. It's kind of like, I'm back up here. Anywhere I gotta go from where I live at currently is to anywhere remotely to where I used to live is quite a few hour drive. But at the same time, dude, I'd love to get in the woods, drop tailgate, and drop some dogs, dude. I don't have any coon dogs currently. If you got some dogs, we can get them in the woods, man. Me and Waylon put a lot of miles on a lot of dogs, and we started pups, and we started green dogs and secondhand dogs and older dogs and friends' dogs. Waylon ended up with a couple of my dogs. Hunted quite a lot with that dude. And I just give a big shout out to you, man. If you're watching this one and you're 30 minutes deep in it, dude, big shout out to you, okay? Let's talk about Ricky Thomas, Jake Kimmel. Jake Kimmel, thank you, dude. He commented on so many of my videos, just thanking me so much, and I greatly appreciate that. I'm not on here for any other reason besides to kind of share it with y'all and let y'all learn. Even if it's from my mistakes, even if it's just from nonsense, it doesn't matter, right? I'm putting my information out there for y'all to go through and go, that's the thing. Okay. Maybe next time. That's one that I really need, right? So y'all all these videos are here for y'all to use how and when it applies or whatever, right? Mark Conshine, Eon Fiddler, Dan Class, PB Texas Boy, Dean Turnbow, Jesse, and John Muckenfuss. Big, huge shout out to all y'all. A couple of y'all have been there since the early days. Eon Fiddler, Dan Clash, you've been around for a while. There's just so many of you guys anymore. When I first started the channel and only had 150 subscribers, doing the shout outs was really easy. But nowadays I'm packing up a big list pretty quick. But y'all definitely get over and check out the Facebook group. Y'all definitely get over and shoot me an email, shoot me a message on Facebook. Check out Dog and Hunt Supply. Okay, so I have not talked to Dog and Hunt Supply in quite a long time. I really greatly appreciate what they did and sent this stuff over. They sent me some leashes and some t-shirts and some hats. I wear the hat every day. That was probably the coolest thing that I had happen to me involving the YouTube channel so far was Dog and Hunt. So I want to give a big, huge shout out to you guys. If you guys are still watching, awesome, right? Still trying to work on a deal for you guys or a code. Haven't heard anything back. So we'll see what's going on with them, but huge shout out to them. And I was ready to back them to the end right there. So y'all get a hold of me. Y'all send me another box. Y'all do something, all right? Another one here is the Dog and Hunt stuff, or not the Dog and Hunt stuff, the Dogtra stuff. Dogtra's awesome. You guys make sure that if you are buying a new collar or a new tracking system or anything, go to dogtra.com and use promo code mailbrook5 and they'll get you 5% off a product $200 or more. Now, I do get kickbacks on Dogtra. It's not very much, right? So I'm not getting very much from them. I think year to date, since I got the deal with Dogtra, I've made probably $50 on it, right? So not very many people actually go ahead and use that code. But if you're buying something from Dogtra or you want to upgrade your unit, use the code, save yourself some money. I'm getting kicked back a little percentage, okay? So another thing here too, I want to talk about a Nook Shook dog food. A Nook Shook dog food is awesome dog food, okay? It is a little bit higher on the pricey side. I have not completely hooked to them. They did send me these hats, and I do greatly appreciate that. But again, it's kind of like the same scenario as the dog and hunt stuff. I don't have promo codes for you guys. And at the end of the day, this isn't really for me. That's for y'all. And I need to get stuff put together on the channel. I can get some kickbacks for y'all, get some percentages knocked off for y'all. I have reached out to another dog food company that I'm kind of waiting for them to email me back before I start talking about them on the channel too much. But definitely, I'm trying to bring you guys the best products that I can possibly get a hold of, being a channel as small as I am, and I'm trying to just do the best that I can. Okay, so I know Nick at Nightlife was hanging around the channel for a while. I need something up here, man. Give me some Nightlife stuff. Send it on over. Hit me an email or whatever the case may be. And that's kind of that, you know. The NKC hat, I got that for being an NKC member. All this stuff up here, I've kind of just gathered around. I got a whole nother bag of stuff that I can't even fit up here anymore. So with that being said, the closer that we get to the 1,000 subs, the more excited that I'm going to be. I was kind of thinking about maybe kicking out a giveaway after the 1,000 subs. Don't quote me on that because I don't really know, and I got some stuff working behind the scenes. We just got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff getting packed together. And for those of you at home that are watching me and you guys know me personally, I just want you guys to understand something. I do the YouTube thing. YouTube isn't my whole life. Okay, I want you guys to understand that. It's really easy when you don't see somebody or don't talk to somebody for a long time, or you ain't visit them in a long time. I talk about coon hunting enough with my viewers and my subscribers at home, and on my Facebook groups and my messages. I don't need to talk about my YouTube channel or coon hunting with y'all. It's kind of like beating a dead horse for me, y'all. And it's kind of like these are the people that I'm talking to because they have the engaging conversation. Nothing to be mad at y'all about or not like that. I'm just kind of saying it's been kind of like a big thing every time I talk to anybody that I know. Oh, the YouTube channel, and it's kind of like this isn't my whole goal in life, and it's not like the end all be all of me. So definitely love coon hunting. Definitely been a big part of my life for a long time. Definitely had a lot of dogs. Definitely found my way through life and kept myself out of trouble by running dogs and training dogs and learning responsibility and that whole thing. It's very good, and it's very constructive way to build character and a very constructive way to keep yourself focused on something. And it's very easy to gauge your success rate. It's very easy to get gratification and be proud of yourself by accomplishing goals. So anybody out there, for the matter, is if we're looking for something that is rewarding to do, it is a constructive thing to do, and it makes better people, and it makes more character in a person. Hunting dogs is up there at the very top of the list, and I'll tell you that because we don't only build relationships with people that hunt, we build relationship with our dogs. We learn responsibility and how to care for and take care of dogs and hounds. We learn things. We become more knowledgeable about the woods and nature and being outside. There's a lot of good things that goes on when it comes down to coon hunting, and it's a lot of good things to come down when hound hunting in general. I hope y'all guys don't mind how long this video is, but it's kind of like there is a big bunch of stuff that kind of needs to be shrunk wrap so it can be delivered, and this is like ultimately the smallest that it can go. Like I was telling James Wadley, dude, there's so much stuff that can be unpacked about every little thing, and that's why I literally have hours and hours and hours of videos and podcast and hunt videos for you guys to watch and go through. You just never know what bit of information that somebody has that will help you out. And some of the stuff can be speculative, some of the stuff can be very definitive or derivative, right? There's a lot of these different words that can be put into play here. But I hope I didn't keep y'all waiting too long. Y'all keep them treed.